The Early Childhood Education Institute, or ECEI, started in 2006, the same year as our undergraduate early childhood teacher preparation program. And both of those programs, the Applied Research Group, the Early Childhood Education Institute, as well as our teacher preparation program in early childhood, were the brainchild of Mr. Kaiser. George Kaiser was interested in early childhood education. He was funding programs in Tulsa, including CAP Tulsa and Tulsa Educare, and knew that he needed qualified personnel to staff those programs. So he was interested in starting an undergraduate bachelor's level program here in Tulsa, which we started in 2006. And at the same time, we started our research group.
Two elements to what I see as the ECEI program, which has been so successful the last 10 years. First is developing bachelor and PhD level teachers who could man or people our schools. And then secondly, to demonstrate through the research that Diane and her team do that we are having the impact that we think we're having in gains that not only are achieved during the time of their participation at the school, but are sustained for many years thereafter.
From the very outset, our vision and Diane's vision have been that the Institute be actively engaged with community partners. So in addition to the academic programs offered by the Early Childhood Education Program and by the Institute itself, we are the primary source of personnel for the Educare centers. We also are engaged as their research arm as they assess the activities that they undertake in terms of training and educational opportunities for these young children.
Every graduate that comes out of their school is the highest quality early childhood graduate, I believe, in the whole nation. They come out and they really understand poverty. They understand the importance of risk factors on brain development. They understand the first 3 years, how critical the first 3 years are.
I think as we had the opportunity through the generosity of the George Kaiser Family Foundation to really try to demonstrate what high quality early childhood education for very young children from birth through age 5 looked like at scale. One of the things that we knew was that we needed to build and develop a workforce that was capable of providing the kinds of important teaching and interactions that young children need in order to be able to thrive and to be ready to enter school.
I think across the country, people are discovering what folks in this center have known and known empirically for a long time. That our investments in our young children pay off throughout their lifetime in better educational outcomes, and throughout a larger community's outcomes in terms of making sure that you've got kids that are ready to learn the moment they get into sort of formal educational learning, and then those positives follow them all the way through life. So I just think this has been a really powerful impact for this center.
Brain cells at birth are functionally undeveloped. It requires trial and error sensory stimuli to develop the electrical connections and chemical connections among brain cells that allow them to reason and even develop one's social and emotional characteristics and to some degree personality. If you can generate creative interaction between adults and very young children very early in life, especially birth to 3, you can in fact reach closer to the goal of equal opportunity.
I think the real pioneering concept that has happened in this institute is the fact that those early years, the first 3 years of life, really set the stage for the rest of one's life. And so if we understand that more, we can start to improve and address those issues very early in life versus later on when it's almost becoming too late.
Recent research really documents that the birth to 3 years serve as the foundation for all later learning and development. Pre-K programming for 4-year-olds has been proven to give children a leg up to do well when they enter K-12. So in a way, early childhood is important because it sets children up to do well in K-12. However, it's important in its own right because we really see that high quality early childhood education really fosters optimal development in young children. Across our country, colleges of education typically focus on K-12 education. And although early childhood education is gaining in recognition and more programs are offered across our country, early childhood still doesn't get the amount of attention in colleges of education as K-12. However, here at the University of Oklahoma, both Dean Smith and Garn have been very supportive of our work since 2006 when we started our early childhood education program and research program here at OU-Tulsa. Both Deans Smith and Garn have been visionary in understanding that early childhood education is important in its own right.
And I think that's what this center does that fits so perfectly into what we're trying to do, is we have the best high-quality research connected to an everyday application where, because of it, young children are learning more effectively. And I think that really is a powerful legacy.
We're a leader in terms of working with that goal of trying to bring better early childhood education to every kid, regardless of their parents' income or the neighborhood that they live in.
A center like this really revolves around the quality of people, and I think Diane Horm is really an extraordinary scholar. She's a great faculty member. She knows how to build teams. She enjoys life, and I think when you do work like this, you have to have fun. You have to recognize the importance of it. So we can talk about all these wonderful metrics for assessing progress and advancement in the future of research, but it all boils down to leadership. And I think in Diane, we have really an extraordinary leader who sees great opportunities for the future, who really values her colleagues, who is helping develop the next generation of researchers who will come after her, and that is really the mark of excellence, I think, in a leader and what we look for. So I take my hat off to Diane, and we are doing everything we can to support her work.
It is absolutely stunning growth that no one really could have anticipated happening.
When you look at what it has meant to partner for CAP and Educare and the Kaiser Foundation and OU, it's really been, I think, a perfect example of where the sum is greater than the individual parts. What each of us brings into that work in partnership complements what others bring, and I think has really been at the heart of why Tulsa is widely regarded as the leading community in this country, focusing its efforts on developing the very youngest children.
The sky's the limit. I believe that this will become the premier center, not only in the United States, but the world, for early childhood education research, particularly for birth to 3. It's already one of the leading centers, and I believe it will be the best in the world for both the research and education of specialists in the field.
What's happening here is shaping that perspective on a state and a federal level. So I think it is an incredibly bright future for high-quality research on young children, and then applying those lessons in our pre-K centers and our early childhood centers. So I just think it's an incredibly bright future for this center. They're doing it all the right way.